moving on a little more to recent times, obviously you've announced that you're, departing from Athletics New South Wales, got this new opportunity at Pont3, which is like an event management and consulting business, from what I understand. They obviously look after the Sydney Marathon currently, formerly known as the Blackmores Sydney Running Festival. And I think they also look after Sydney Harbour 5K and 10K, if I'm not mistaken. They even helped out with, organizing or consulting with Bondi to Manly and also the Sydney Pride event as well. And obviously, a lot of these events require road closures. So there's like a lot of, admin and stuff involved. So it's obviously a huge step up in your career in terms of like responsibility as well. What kind of made you want to take this step forward to something new?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'll sort of answer in two ways. I think Pont3 is it's a really exciting place to be going into at this point in time. So the Sydney Marathon, for those who aren't aware, is one of the candidate world major marathons in the world at the moment. So Chengdu in China and Cape Town, South Africa are two other candidates. They, all three of them, theoretically could become world majors. They're not in competition with one another. And the vote for it, whether Sydney Marathon becomes a world major, is actually the race directors of the 6 world majors. So they have the say as to whether Sydney becomes a world major. So this is the second of 3 years for their candidature. And there are some lofty criteria, and I think it's no secret that one of them is to get a lot more people to the marathon. So that's exactly what priority number one on their list. And then very second priority is to bring a real experience to the marathon. So to not have the dead Ks around Centennial Park. How do we actually activate the course? How do we get people out on the course? How do we make sure that this is just as memorable as some of the other marathons around the world? So they're really there's some really big challenges, but also some really exciting challenges ahead for this year and next year for the Sydney Marathon. So basically I was actually at a cafe with Wayne Larden, and Wayne's CEO of Pont3, and we were just chatting, and he just so happened to tell me that the staff in Pont3 had doubled in 6 months. So there was a lot of expansion happening in the office, but made perfect sense because they're trying to really ramp up and get this world major status, which would be amazing. So I sort of it was sort of mentioned that there was a marketing role going. I said, well, I'd regret if I didn't throw my hat in the ring. So it was just, it almost felt like a stars aligning moment, because I really enjoy my job at Athletics New South Wales, but to be able to be part of the journey for Sydney Marathon to become a world major and just doing whatever I can and the role that I have to be able to achieve that it would be a massive moment in my career, and something that I feel like would only benefit me more with opportunities moving forwards. So I ended up being successful in a role there called the digital marketing manager role. So I've got a direct report to a guy called Tim Wish, and he's a fantastic guy. Was actually the national marketing manager for the Colour Run for quite a few years, a really successful fun run event, and he's got some fantastic ideas. Wayne has been running the business for 18 years now, and the Sydney Marathon for 18 years. So it's a very exciting workplace and a very exciting time to be going to Pont3. So as much as I love Athletics New South Wales and I love the sport, it's great. It's a good time, I think, for me to sort of take that next step in my career.